Beyond its status as a global superpower, the United States is home to many long-standing traditions, some of which are surprisingly quirky. Certain customs have become so unique that they may seem strange, even baffling to people from other cultures. One such tradition is hollerin'.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Dinner!
Before the invention of the telephone, this was more than just loud shouting. It was an actual form of long-distance communication, particularly in the southeastern U.S. To keep this tradition alive, the National Hollerin' Contest was established in 1969 in Spivey's Corner, North Carolina. Since then, the event has been held annually, celebrating a lost art that once connected rural communities. But hollerin' is just the beginning. The U.S. is full of unusual customs that add to its cultural charm. Stay with us as we uncover more of the country's strangest and most fascinating traditions. Have you ever seen someone deliberately expose their backside right in front of you? For most people, that might seem odd, inappropriate, or even offensive. But in Laguna Niguel, California, this bizarre act isn't just accepted. It has become a full-fledged annual tradition known as mooning of the Amtrak. Every year, on the second Saturday of July, hundreds, sometimes even thousands, of people gather along the fence outside Mugs Away Saloon on Camino Capistrano. As Amtrak trains pass by, participants drop their pants and flash their bare backsides at passengers. In fact, train operators often slow down just so riders can fully experience the spectacle. Surprisingly, this unusual tradition all started with a simple bet over free alcohol. Back in 1979, a patron at Mugs Away Saloon made an offer. Anyone willing to moon a passing train would get a free drink. A few brave souls took up the challenge, and what began as a drunken dare quickly turned into an annual ritual. Over the years, the event has grown, with more and more participants joining in, dropping their pants or lifting their skirts as each Amtrak train rolls by. Because it all started with those first brave flashes aimed at Amtrak passengers, the event earned its now iconic name, Mooning of the Amtrak. Carrying a bride over the threshold is a classic tradition, but in the U.S., some husbands take it much further. Every year, at the Sunday River Ski Resort in Maine, couples compete in the Wife Carrying Championship, an intense race that's as entertaining as it is challenging. Participants must navigate a 250-meter course filled with obstacles like logs, mud pits, and sand dunes, all while carrying their wives. Most use the backpack technique, where the wife hangs upside down on the husband's back, allowing him to run more freely. The reward? The winning couple takes home beer equal to the wife's weight and a cash prize 5 times her weight. Beyond the competition, the event is all about fun, teamwork, and plenty of laughs. Would you dare to take on the challenge?
Congratulations, that was an amazing race.
Beyond wife-carrying competitions, another uniquely bizarre race takes place in Manitou Springs, Colorado, the Emma Crawford Coffin Race. This Halloween tradition draws costume teams who race coffin-shaped carts down the streets. But behind the fun lies a hauntingly tragic story. The event is inspired by Emma Crawford, who moved to Manitou Springs in 1889 seeking treatment for tuberculosis. She fell in love with the town and wished to be buried atop Red Mountain. After her passing, her fiancé, William Hildebrand, honored her wish by carrying her coffin up the mountain and burying her near the summit. However, over time, harsh weather eroded the burial site, and Emma's coffin eventually slid down the mountain. Overcome with guilt, the town turned her story into an annual tradition. Since 1995, the Manitou Springs Chamber of Commerce has hosted the race, drawing massive crowds and offering various ticketed categories for competitors. Who in their right mind would enjoy the smell of old, unwashed shoes? Most people would say no one. But in the United States, there's an annual event that celebrates exactly that: the National Rotten Sneaker Contest. This unusual competition, held at Ripley's Believe It or Not in New York, judges sneakers based on their stench, physical condition, and the story behind their filth.
Yeah, let me smell that shoe.
They smell like new shoes.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Even for Americans, this event is undeniably odd. But what makes it even more intriguing is the level of expertise involved. The judging panel includes Dr. Rachel Hertz, a specialist in olfactory psychology from Brown University, and George Aldrich, a NASA chemical expert, both tasked with carefully sniffing out the foulest footwear.
That is disgusting.
The contest dates back to 1974, originally a marketing stunt for a Vermont sporting goods store. In 1988, foot care brand Odor Eaters took over as the main sponsor. Who knew that smelly sneakers could be a winning asset? Every year, on the fourth Thursday of November, Americans celebrate Thanksgiving, a holiday symbolizing gratitude, peace, and the beginning of the festive season. But before families gather for their traditional feast, the President of the United States takes part in a unique ritual known as the Presidential Turkey Pardon. This tradition involves the President officially granting a pardon to a live turkey at the White House, sparing it from becoming part of someone's Thanksgiving dinner. While it's unclear what crime the bird committed to deserve clemency, the tradition itself is lighthearted and steeped in history. Some trace its origins back to President Abraham Lincoln in 1863, while others point to President Ulysses S. Grant in the 1870s. By 1914, the act of gifting turkeys to the president became widespread, symbolizing both generosity and patriotism. However, it wasn't until 1989, under President George H.W. Bush, that the Presidential Turkey Pardon was officially established as an annual White House tradition, one that continues to this day. Have you ever heard of a testicle festival?
What?
The name alone might sound strange, or even a little unappetizing. But in parts of the United States, it's a long-standing culinary tradition. The event revolves around cooking and eating animal testicles, usually battered and deep-fried to a crispy golden brown. One of the oldest of these festivals takes place in Byron, Illinois, but perhaps the most famous is the Rocky Mountain Oyster Festival. Don't let the name fool you. Rocky Mountain oysters aren't seafood. They're actually deep-fried bull testicles. Every spring, ranchers castrate young bulls to keep them from becoming aggressive. While the leftover parts were once discarded or fed to dogs, cowboys eventually discovered they were packed with protein. In fact, even the ancient Romans believed eating animal testicles could boost male virility and treat issues like erectile dysfunction. Because of this, places like Clinton, Montana now host annual testicle festivals, celebrating the dish as both a high-protein delicacy and a so-called aphrodisiac. Curious about the taste? Some say they resemble calamari, while others joke they're just chewy, seasoned rubber. Would you dare to try them? From bull testicles to fruit pits, Americans have a way of turning the most unexpected things into competitions. One of the quirkiest is the International Cherry Pit Spitting Championship, held at Tremendous Farm in Michigan. The concept is simple. Contestants eat a cherry, then spit the pit as far as possible. But as with any serious competition, there are rules. Participants aren't allowed to pinch their cheeks with their hands or use any external devices to enhance their spit. The current world record stands at an astonishing 93.5 feet, set by Brian Krause and recognized by Guinness World Records. Think you have what it takes to break the record?
Sure.
One of America's most vibrant and festive traditions is Mardi Gras, an annual carnival in New Orleans, Louisiana. Participants dress in elaborate costumes, often in the signature colors of purple, green, and gold, and adorn themselves with long strands of beads. The name Mardi Gras comes from French, meaning Fat Tuesday, a reference to the old tradition of indulging in rich, fatty foods before the Christian season of Lent, when such indulgences are avoided. Over time, it has evolved into a grand celebration of culture and community. Each year, the streets come alive with dazzling parades, shimmering masks, and a rain of colorful beads tossed from floats. The sounds of jazz fill the air as revelers dance through the French Quarter, where people on balconies eagerly reach for lucky necklaces. Meanwhile, the iconic king cake, with its hidden surprise, serves as a symbol of unity and joy. More than just a festival, Mardi Gras is a living cultural legacy, an explosion of freedom, creativity, and shared celebration.